Peace to the guys and nurses. Rod's happening again. On behalf of the Sacred Tree, this is another episode of La Renaissance. We not only do self-affirmation portraits, but we also do spirit animals and just deities and like mythological creatures. You know what I'm saying? We're heavy into mythology. And this is a painting that I was supposed to have been broke down. But time. I got kids. Look. So I'll be busy. But I'm getting around to it, and I just want to salute the Tiamat. This is the story of Tiamat. For those that don't know, the story of Tiamat goes, she's the mother goddess of pretty much all creation from the primordial waters. She had a counterpart named Abzu. They had children. Abzu was nervous about one of his kids being able to take the throne. So he was thinking about taking him out, and they kind of beat him to it. So that pissed Tiamat off, and pretty much the story goes that I want to say one of her grandkids, Marduk, pretty much slayed her and used her body to create earth and the heavens. You know what I'm saying? Go check out that mythology, because I always tell people that the so-called ancient mythos, and as a people, we always are playing it out. Like the stars are written, you know what I mean? Our life story is written in the stars. That's why the ancestors studied it so much. So I always say as above, so below, right? So you have to understand interstellar and intercellular. You understand? Interstellar and intercellular. You understand? So that means microcosm, macrocosm, macrocosm, microcosm. You understand? So as above, so below, that's what that means. So that means that stuff that's written in the stars is also coded in your DNA. You know what I mean? Hence stardust and stardust jewelry. Because we know that that's where we come from. You know what I mean? So as far as Tiamat go, notice that when they usually call her the goddess of primordial waters, and she represents chaos. One thing I want you to understand about chaos magic is that only means magic that they can't control. Think about that. Anything that they can't control, they automatically deem it evil. When they can control it, it's good. You see what I'm saying? So Tiamat represents that energy that you can't control. And that comes with a whole plethora of aspects of Tiamat, like Lilith, Sekhmet, Kalima. Those energies are offshoots or aspects of Tiamat. And though she was the goddess of the primordial waters, we have goddesses that's on the land, goddesses of the river. It's goddesses. They usually, it's a tarot deck, an oracle deck that calls her the goddess of 10,000 names. And one thing they used to say about the dragons as well, she's the mother of the dragons, but dragons can shapeshift. So this is an ability of the dragons. So it might be dragon blood people walking amongst us now. I think that has something to do with the melanin. And that's why we're always under siege, because they know that once we get activated, we won't be able to be controlled again. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they're trying to put the hammer down and all that good shit. But not good shit, but that's what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So we just have to tap into the mythos, their codes. And it's something that's relative to today even more. We got a lot of solar flares, a lot of asteroids like hitting or coming close to hitting Earth, and they, people will be panicking. They just even got that movie Don't Look Up, you know what I mean? And pretty much they was even saying that the belt that's around like after the first 3 planets of the solar system, is like there's an astral belt that's all part of Tiamat as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's funny to me, one thing that I notice is, see, we have to understand that source, let's say Tiamat is source, right? Let's say she's source. And then she fractioned herself into different aspects so she can learn herself. We have to understand that we're in the point of bringing everything back together again. Like, one thing that I noticed about ancient Sumerian, Babylonian, the Enuma Elish, ancient Kemet, like a lot of their creation stories have a correlation. And I feel like now is the time to start seeing the similarities instead of the things that separate us. So the story of Tiamat and the story of Osiris and Isis has a correlation. And this is the thing that I peeped. When it came to Tiamat's story and Marduk came through and so-called slayed the dragon and scattered and used her pieces to make the heavens and earth, you know what I'm saying, and people, you know what I mean? And then as far as the story of Osiris and Isis, or Osar and Auset, Osiris' brother set him up to hop in a casket or a coffin, chopped his, and eventually wound up chopping his body up and scattering it all around. But the thing is with that story is the female principal, which is Auset or Isis, gathered all of his pieces back together and put it all back together again. And I feel like in that mythology is where we at. You know what I'm saying? We're in the gathering and bringing back the pieces of the puzzle back together again. So all of those aspects that the Great Mother broke herself down into, you know what I'm saying? And mind you, when they frame it in this aspect of it was a great war and, you know, he slayed the dragon and all that. When you look into the cosmos, there's a lot of violent shit that goes on out there that we just can't comprehend. So the only thing that we can relate to that kind of correlates with that catastrophe is war. So when men are trying to come up with some idea why these things happen, that's what they come up with. Whereas the Great Mother, all of these things are part of a divine plan. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm talking about the story of Tiamat, it made me think about the 7 Hermetic principles. So let me just go through that right quick. The 7 Hermetic principles, the first one is mentalism, which is all is mind, the universe is mental. Then you have correspondence, as above, so below. Then you have vibration, nothing rests, everything is in constant motion, everything vibrates. Then you have polarity, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has a pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identified in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. So when you hear about this great war that happened in heaven, it was meant to happen that way. This is not nothing by chance. And trust me, what we call Big Mama or that Tiamat energy, it's like if she created us all, like she know what she's doing. It may look like she's not in control and that we running this thing, or the people that feel like they're running this planet, but she know what she's doing. Like it's all in a part of the divine plan, and only few are privy to like truly understand what it is that she got cooking up. You know what I'm saying? Number 5, rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swings, manifesting everything. The measure of the swing to the right is so what was I saying? The 7 Hermetic principles, we were still on that. I think it was number 5, rhythm. We covered that. Number 6, cause and effect. Number 7 is gender. So I bring up that to just let you know that when you hear these spiritual concepts, a lot of the times, even in ancient scripture, it's written by men. It's written by the male perspective. So just like one of the 7 Hermetic principles, and it was saying the law of polarity is that there's a such thing as half truths. You know what I mean? So when we're getting all of our spiritual concepts from ancient texts, and it's mostly from a male perspective, my question would be, where's the female perspective? You know what I mean? It's as if only men can tell the story. You see what I'm saying? So to me, that's a whole half of the truth that's missing. So that's where I'll come in at. Those are the things that I be asking. Like when you hear the story about Anunnaki, right? And then you hear about the Gigi. I'm even doing research on that right now. Who are the Gigi? And why were they rebelling against the Anunnaki? And it's like, why do they feel like they can enslave the Gigi, and then that narrative, it just plays out through Earth like that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always for the underdog, man, and trying to break generational curses. Because to me, slavery is one of those things. You know what I mean? So we always got to be mindful, just because we see, you know how they say, to the victor goes the spoil, or the victor gets to tell the story. It's like, that doesn't necessarily mean that they was right. You know what I mean? Just because they carved it in stone and all that type of shit, you have to really internalize that and think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Is there a wrong or right? You know what I mean? But one thing that I do notice is that it's a lot of male principle that's being disseminated through all of these scriptures. And I'm like, you don't never really get to hear the women speak. You feel what I'm saying? I want to hear her part of the story. Look at that. Look at it. Lilith, she was once a part of the story. They X'd her out the game. Eve, they made her responsible for the damnation of humanity. Mary was a prostitute. The only person that they give some kind of credence to is Mother Mary. You know what I'm saying? And then when you think about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, it's just like, who's the Holy Spirit? Obviously, that's the mother, right? So I'm like, look here, man. I don't like this whole making the divine feminine be in the back seat when she's really the mother of us all. Like, ain't no God gonna give birth without a mother. Even God got a mother. You understand? So, only thing I want to point that out is just to show you that when they say that the cosmos is almost like the primordial waters, right? And when Earth was first in creation, it was all water first. So that means the female principle was here first, right? And even when you're born in what? Water. You're born in your mother's womb, right? And not only that, for the first gestation period, everybody's female first until they start developing the male genitalia and all that type of stuff in order to differentiate the gender. You know what I mean? And those things are part of the Hermetic principle. That means, let me just go back to gender right quick, because I know we all thinking that we're on this progressive thinking with these gender reversals and all of that type of stuff. It says gender, as far as the Hermetic principle, it says gender isn't everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. So that means insects, plants, humans, animals, even the planets. Like, all of these things have that aspect to it. So that's why even when you're hearing these mythologies, there's always a masculine and a feminine principle involved. You see what I'm saying? And I would say that to say this, that man represents land, woman represents water. And usually when it comes to man being representing land, he's the one that has to work the land. He's the one that has to, you know, like agriculture, architecture, light, intellect. That's usually the divine masculine. Divine feminine usually deals with intuition, emotion, sound. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, when you think of like whales and dolphins, they deal with sonar technology. They speak with sound. You see what I'm saying? That's vibration. So a lot of these Hermetic principles tie into Tiamat in that fashion. So let me just get into the painting a little bit, because I just wanted to give you an overview of Tiamat, because I really want y'all to do the research yourself. and really start diving into it. And when you're doing any mythology, because there's mythology all through the Bible too, when you're talking about the Garden of Eden, Genesis, Revelation, all that type of shit, you gotta put yourself in the story. What role would you play in that whole, and any of these stories, any mythology that you can possibly read? The idea is for you to put yourself in a story and you decipher who's who, which one are you. You know what I mean? But just getting into the painting right quick. There go Tiamat, right? She's a purple dragon in my eye because I believe that that represents enlightenment. She has been pretty much put in this position, like Lilith has been put in this position of, I can't control you, so fuck your life. You know what I mean? Pardon my French, but that's how I talk, man. Y'all gonna have to get used to me now. You feel me? But yeah, I feel like she's been dragged through the mud. A lot of the times when you see in movies, when they kill her, they drop her in the sea. Like they always kill her by water, even though that's like she's the mother of water. Like that always be pissing me off sometimes when I'm watching movies. Yemiya, goddess of the water. Goddess of 10,000 names, aspect of Tiamat, shapeshifter. Remember I told you that, dragon shapeshift. So that's why I brought Yemiyan to this portrait. I wanted to show you that that there's different aspects of Tiamat that's walking the land right now. Remember I told you interstellar and intercellular. That means as above, so below. So you best believe she has representatives here on this planet. And I'm here to help them really get this message out there because we've been listening to men talk too much. And it's cool to have the intellect because we're in the age of the awakening and we need that. But we also need this. We need to balance the two. I'm a Libra, so I see where we need to go with this. We need to build that bridge between the heart and the mind. It's cool to be a left brain and you know how to read these scriptures and you know you can probably read them better than me and spit it verbatim type shit. Me, I read these things, I internalize it, and I really start trying to figure out like, why is the woman always not being able to tell her own damn story? And it's always a man speaking on her behalf, right? So, and I know that's what I'm doing right now too. But at least I'm doing it in a way that's like really trying to big her up and really want to see her in the forefront and not just telling the story as it happened as if that was the absolute truth. Because even on the ancient tablets, they could have been lying too. They lied in the Bible, you see what I'm saying? To use it as a tool for power. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, even in the Anunnaki story, they tell you that we was genetically modified so we can be slaves. And there goes that slavery shit again. So like I said, go look into that Tiamat mythology, look into Anunnaki and the GG, man. We need to see what's going on with the GG. But anyway, back to the painting. We got Yemiya in the painting, representing that primordial water. They try to bury it in water. That's just like trying to bury us, but didn't know that we were seas. You know how they got that saying? You can't bury a mermaid in water. You understand? Like, this is the things that they be putting in these crazy-ass movies. They did it in that last Black Panther movie, too. You saw the queen die by drowning. Come on now. Y'all, I know y'all be seeing that shit, too. But, I wanted to make sure that I highlighted Yemiya, and I never can forget Oshun because they both play my left and my right. You understand? I'll always walk with Yemiya and Oshun everywhere I go. So I always, if I speak about Yemiya, I gotta speak about Oshun too. That's just a thing, but a personal thing. You feel me? But in this painting, she represents Yemiya, and it just shows you the primordial water in rage. Like, shows you the waves, shows you Tiamat coming out the water. You know what I'm saying? And it shows you that blood red moon. You know what I'm saying? And that it's pretty much time to usher that energy in. And I feel like it's a reckoning upon us. You know what I'm saying? And it comes in the physical form as asteroids. It comes as solar flares. It comes as people speaking truth to power. It's so many things that are going to be happening that like I said, the mythology will help guide you through as far as making sense of this shit. You see what I'm saying? But I wanted to paint Tiamat and the vision that I've seen as far as how I think she would look. And I wanted to show you that there's representatives of Tiamat. I call her the goddess of 10,000 names. And like I said, Lilith, Sekhmet, Kalima, most of the warrior goddesses, Oya, most of the warrior goddesses are representatives of Tiamat. Trust and believe. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for them to tell their story. It's time. Because I be feeling like they be acting like only men was allowed to write in them days. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure men was making sure that they fashioned themselves. But think about it. When they was doing the crusades and they was witch hunting and all that type of shit, just like how they did Alexandria storming and burning all the books and all of that shit as if none ever existed so they can rewrite the history. It's like, where is the manuscripts or the scrolls where I'm sure it was women that knew stuff. And I know a lot of it was oral tradition anyway. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it is just within. You know what I mean? It's encoded because I feel like women are just that powerful that they ain't even got to write that shit down for real. It's just a resonance. You know what I mean? But I feel like now is the time for their story to be told. And like I said, I wanted you to feast your eyes on this painting so you can really see Tiamat in all her glory. You know what I'm saying? And understand that she has representatives down here, Yemiya being one of them, representing one of the great mothers, Mami Wata. You know what I mean? The list goes on. I promise you that. It's so many goddesses. Any African queen that was out there banging against colonialism most likely was an aspect of Tiamat. You understand? So that dragon blood is melanin. I'm going to tell you that right now. When they talking about the dragon and blood, that's melanin. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? And we're supposed to usher that in. We get activated. That's why they're trying to make sure that they put that yadamin in you so they can make you back docile again. Because I really just feel like that's a control mechanism, but that's another story. But you can tell that that's why everything is being revved up. They're trying to double down and put you back into slavery. You know what I'm saying? And that's such a reoccurring story. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of that shit, bro. Like, it should be a new day. When one of the one of the hermetic principles being cause and effect, how the pendulum swings to the left, it gotta swing to the right. That pendulum been done swung to the left a little bit too far, man. It's time to get back right, man. Or at least get back to the center at least. They trying to keep it over there like, nah, bruh. It's a new day. And what's upon us is the female principle. You know what I mean? They, like I said, they call her chaos magic because they don't know how to control her. If you was to see one of the Thor movies when the sister came into it, I don't know which Thor it was, but they had a sister. That's that Lilith Tiamat energy right there. She's a representative. So we need to identify that the female principle is powerful, very powerful. And once you can tap into that and understand that she is the one that birthed us all, you will have a different perspective on how you approach religion and really see that spirituality and science go hand in hand, and religion is just politics, bro. That's all it is. Religion is politics. Religion is man using spirituality to control the masses. Has nothing to do with being spiritual. They just used a little bit of it, just enough to get you on the hook. You feel me? But we was already spiritual. We didn't need that shit. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? But everything has a course that it has to take in order for us to get to where we at now. You know what I'm saying? But we've always been spiritual people. We always been in tune with Mother Earth, because they even said that Earth is Tiamat. This is her body that we're on right now. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, the astral belt that I was telling you about, those was when she got broken to pieces. You see what I'm saying? So they scared of us, man. There's something inside of you that they scared of. And that's why they keep trying to keep you scared and off balance. So we just have to know who we are, what we're made of. And like I said, that the dragon blood, that's melanin. You understand? cosmos, interstellar, and intercellular. See the correlation. You know what I mean? Melanin is being activated. Tiamat, Kundalini. Why do you think the serpents is a symbol throughout the world? They even use it in healthcare. You know what I mean? So it's like you really got to start doing the knowledge to the symbology and what it really means. Because like I said, men can use words all day, every day, but symbology is supreme. You understand? Symbology is supreme. Why you think now we going back to emojis and shit like that? Those are hieroglyphs. That's been said plenty of times before, but you have to really sit with that and think about it for a second. That's why I'm sitting there telling you that picture is worth 1,000 words, but a symbol is worth 1,000 pictures. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett. He's the one who I got that phrase from. A lot of people, they be pretty much regurgitating some Bobby Hemmett and acting like they came up with some shit. He was the master of mythology. So I salute that king. I salute that God, because he brought a lot of this to the table. And a lot of people, they be trying to do what they do to the great mother. Sweep you under the rug and forget her. You know what I mean? I'm bigging him up. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett, man. Because he the one who I even learned about the concept of Tiamat. Real shit. So this is my depiction. I feel like she's beautiful. She's the beautiful monster. She's the beauty and the beast. You know what I mean? And I just feel like now is the time to really tap in. It's okay to still have your religion, faith, belief. That's cool. But it's okay to have an add-on too. This is not evil. There's no such thing in the spiritual realm of evil. That's a third density thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we really have to just start doing the knowledge, seeing what's on the so-called evil side and seeing what's on the so-called good side, and seeing that if what they telling you is evil is actually really evil. Because they always going to have you looking for the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to know what's real out here, man. And what's going down now, it's the divine mother of heaven and earth getting back on her throne. So all praise to the Most High and Tiamat. And this is my ode to Tiamat right here, man. Beautiful. You know what I mean? So this is another episode of La Renaissance on behalf of the Sacred Tree. And this is Rod signing out. Peace.